You're sitting in a meeting, quietly connecting the dots that everyone else is missing. But your boss doesn't see it like that. They see you staring into space, daydreaming, and the word disengagement comes to their mind. I can tell you that assumption is wrong, and it's happening for a very specific reason, which I'm about to tell you now. Hey guys, I'm Mihna and welcome back to my channel. So, you know how my job as an engineer is basically to stare at problems all day until I kind of figure them out. Well, for years I had this really weird issue in my performance reviews. My manager would say that I seem to be checked out or disengaged in meetings, that I don't contribute, I don't put myself out there, and I'm not making myself visible enough. It was insanely frustrating. I dare to say that they were completely wrong. And I'll be honest, for a while I thought there's something wrong with me. I was trying to be more visible, to speak up more, but to put myself out there, but it felt impossible. I couldn't figure out why. It finally clicked with me when I came across one of the personality types from the PCA framework called the Imaginer, and it turns out its core traits are almost always misunderstood in the typical office environment. So I wanted to walk you through this. And by the end of this video, you'll get exactly why that quiet person in the meeting room, who might be you by the way, needs time to think. And more importantly, you'll have the exact words to explain to your boss so they finally understand why this is actually a superpower. Okay, so let's start with what your boss actually sees. Let me try to paint a picture for you. Imagine you're in a big project kickoff meeting, the whiteboard is full of notes. There's quite high energy in the room and everyone is throwing ideas left and right, and you're just sitting there. You're quietly taking it all in, looking from the person presenting to the whiteboard. You're not writing anything, you're not talking, you're just thinking. Now, from your boss perspective, what does your boss think is happening is that they say you're zoned out. But internally, your monologue is actually, wait a minute. If we connect what Sarah just said about the budget with what Mark just put on the board about the timeline, there's a huge flaw in this plan and apparently no one is seeing it. On the outside, your face is calm, neutral, but inside your brain is going basically full throttle. It's intense focus, it's not actually boardroom. And that's actually the gap. Your boss sees this silence and their brain fills the blank with disengagement or uninterested. Ah, this guy doesn't even care. That's the misleading signal in this whole situation. So what's really going on in that silence? Isn't just empty space. I want you to think of your brain like a massive internal library. It's a huge and quiet space with endless bookshelves of information that you stored over the years. And when someone in the meeting room asks you a question like, what should we do now? You don't just grab the first book on the nearest shelf. What's happening in your brain is that you perform a full internal library search, you walk through the aisle, you put the information from different sections, you lay it out all on a giant table, and you start to connect the dots. And your internal thoughts is, this isn't about being slow, it's about being thorough. And my job is not to give them the first answer, is to give them the right answer. And this process to do this requires a very specific fuel. Your core psychological need is solitude. And it's not about being antisocial. It's about needing the quiet space to do your deepest work. And as an engineer, I can tell from my own experience, I can't solve a complex problem with half of my brain in a loud meeting room. I need space and time to think. But what happens when you don't get the right fuel or the right food? What happens when your boss mistakes your internal processing for disengagement and he tries to fix it? Let's imagine this. Now you're back into back-to-back meetings. There's no breaks in between. Your boss is trying to be inclusive and puts you on the spot. They turn to you and they say, "You've been quiet. What do you think about this?" And in that moment, because your mental fuel tank is empty, you physically withdraw. You might even break eye contact. You start to try to find a window to look through. You lean maybe back and you just say, "I'm not sure yet." And your internal monologue is just static. You tell yourself, "I've got nothing. The library is closed and I can't access any of my information. You're feeling overwhelmed, maybe even a bit frustrating at this point because of the situation you've put through, but the visible result is that you shut down. And this, unfortunately, this is the exact moment of misunderstanding. Your boss locks this in. Your boss sees this withdrawal as and labels it as disengagement. They think it's a choice, maybe even lack of motivation, but I'll tell you, is not. It's your system warning light telling you that you're running basically on almost empty. So let's try to bring all this together. If you ever felt misunderstood for being the quiet one in the room, I hope now you have a new way to think of it, a different perspective. You're not disengaged, you're just processing the information internally. And by all means, please don't think you're antisocial. You need that solitude to do your best work. And when you withdraw under pressure, is not a choice, unfortunately. It's your system warning light, basically when you have low fuel in the tank. And for the imaginer, I have this idea that I call the imaginer paradox. The person who looks the least engaged is often the one doing the deepest and most valuable thinking in the room. It's not a rule though, but most cases it is. Now, this is the what to the why. And for the next step, I'm planning to give you the how. So in the next video, we're going to build together your personal user manual. We'll break down the specific ways you need to communicate your needs to your boss and how to manage your energy in order to avoid the system failure altogether. So if you want me to guide you through this, please make sure to subscribe, hit that bell icon so you don't miss the next video. Thanks a lot for chatting with me, and I'll see you into the next one.